Great. Hello, and welcome to today's webinar from CaptionHub. Today we're talking about automation, and this is really key to many of our customers who are trying to develop a really efficient workflow for taking their video content into different regions, typically with a lot of day-to-day content, and sometimes with large archives of content. When they first come to us as a customer, they might have an archive of content sitting on a MAM or a video platform, an OVP. And so we've built a set of automation tools that we're going to take you through today to show you how you can translate your media into many different languages. We're using 25 today as an example, but we support hundreds of different languages, which I can show you shortly. So with that said, let's jump in. We'll record the webinar just so that you can share this afterwards. You will receive an email in the next 24 hours usually, and you'll be able to share this with colleagues, and it will also go up onto our resources page as well. If you have questions at any time throughout this, please just pop them into the Q&A, and I'll try to get to those questions as we go through the event. If I don't get to those, obviously, I'll try to get to them at the end. So let's jump in. For those of you that don't know me, my name is James Jameson. I lead CaptionHub's go-to-market and commercial team here at CaptionHub, and been with the business for 10 years. And so very close to the product team and understanding how this works in the market. Automation is a capability that we built about 3-4 years ago now, and we've really leaned into the whole capability. The original sort of genesis for this came from, we saw that our customers were wanting to do more and more with CaptionHub's API, and so there's a lot in CaptionHub's API as a modern SaaS platform based on a RESTful architecture. Pretty much everything that you can do inside of CaptionHub, you can tell CaptionHub to do via the API. So you can make CaptionHub work programmatically without having to, engage with the interface, press buttons, do those repeated tasks. You can just have those scheduled by some external triggers. And this is super powerful, but it does have a limitation in that you have to have some level of web development knowledge in order to plug into an API. And so we started to take out and surface the key requirements that our customers were using the API for into a set of automation tools that essentially allows anybody that can interface with CaptionHub, that uses the platform and has basic computer knowledge to create automations. And they can be really powerful automations. So that's what we'll talk about today. Is we're going to talk about actually how to apply those automations for back catalogues of content. Let's say that you've got a lot of video content sitting on a video platform, on a MAM, on a DAM, then you don't want to go through and upload all of those individually into CaptionHub and use the bulk editing capability to transcribe and translate and then download the subtitles or push those back. You really want to just sort of set this up once and let all of your media be subtitled, but really key, be subtitled to your style guides, including your language profiles, including all of the settings that you use in CaptionHub to give you the best possible output, but still in a very, very automated way that requires no intervention whatsoever. So this is what we'll look at today. And what we're doing here is, if we just sort of take the basic components of captioning, which is ingesting some form of video and taking that video, transcribing what's being said, translating, and then creating closed captions in a particular format to fit your caption limitations and style guides, and timing, so that fits back to your media, and then publishing that back. Then we provide that end-to-end support in a fully automated way. So let's jump into what this looks like in the platform and spend some time with CaptionHub and automations. So we're in CaptionHub now, and the video platforms that I have open in the background here are Brightcove and Kaltura. But actually, automation is supported across a range of different connectors that we have. These are native integrations that CaptionHub has built over the years with different OVPs, online video players. So we support out of the box, automations with Brightcove, with Cloudflare, with JW Player, with Kaltura, Mux, Kumu, Vimeo, and YouTube as well. So all of those players are supported, but it's also worth noting if you don't have a player that's supported by automation, automation can also be supported and is supported in the API as well. So you can apply automations both programmatically and you can integrate into different platforms. So we have customers that are integrated into media asset management platforms like Mediator X. So if you have a MAM or a DAM or a video platform or even a sort of custom repository that is not supported here, then please, don't let that sort of, concern you. Either get in touch with me, with my team, and we can show you how that works. We can give you the API documentation. Also worth noting, we also rolled out a Google Drive automation as well. So that is now fully supported as well. So if you have your media that's sitting in Google Drive, then that's great. We can pull that into CaptionHub. We can run all of the processes that you can use in automation, and then we can publish those subtitles back again for day-to-day content, but also for automations as well. I'm just going to drop this into the chat as well, so everybody has access to this. In fact, I say I'm going to do that, and I don't have access. So what I will do is we'll send this link straight after the webinar. So let's jump in. So you can see on our dashboard, we have all of our video projects here. That's great. What I'm going to do today is show you how we take a set of videos sitting in a folder in Brightcove. We'll do the same in Kaltura like this. So you can see we have the same 4 videos in it each, but really this could be any number of videos. And if you have a massive population of videos in a MAM or a video platform, and you only want to caption a certain demographic of that population, a certain sample, then you can completely do that as well. Okay, and I now have access thanks to my marketing team. So that's set up, and there's that link for the video platforms. So what we're going to do here is take these videos and run them through an automation. Now, the first thing that I need to do inside of CaptionHub is simply navigate to my automations page and set up what we call an automation template. And this is really, really quite easy to do. If I wanted to set up a new template, let's just select new, then I can do this very, very quickly. CaptionHub is very intuitive. It will allow you to basically set up this automation within seconds. So if we wanted to set up an automation for Brightcove, I'd select my source as Brightcove. I can say that all new media, so any new media I upload will be tagged, but will be automated. But for the purposes of this, for subtitling a back catalog, really what we want to do is say, actually, I want to go into my video platform. I want to tag all of the video in my archive that I want to caption. And then we're going to do some things to that video. We're going to transcribe it. We're going to translate it into a certain number of languages. We're going to apply styling and caption limitations, and we're going to publish that. And we'll look at those details in a moment. But really, for now, what I'm showing you here is that what you can do here is select which type of media in Brightcove or Kaltura or whichever video platform it is then ingested into CaptionHub. So we are going to say tagged media, and we can put a tag in here. We'll say tag 1, and then we can say, okay, what's our automation going to do? In this case, it's going to create captions. Yes, perfect. Once my captions have been created, I want to then immediately create translations. Or I might say that as soon as those are created, we're going to publish those English or whatever our native language captions are back to the video platform of choice. In this case, what I'm saying is we're going to create translations, and when the translations have been created, we're going to publish those back. Now, we do have some other workflows that are supported here, and I'm going to come onto those in a second. But really just what I'm trying to get across here is this automation is now pretty much set up, bar setting, my translation group, which is very easy to do. I can just select all those languages. I can save those. And you can see now that in CaptionHub, I have a automation that's set up that says any video that I give tag 1 will import into CaptionHub, will transcribe, will translate, in this case, into 99 languages, and then publish back. So that's how easy it is to set up an automation. Really quite straightforward. You can do this super intuitively. I really think most people will be able to jump in and create this and sort of understand how it works. But as ever, our knowledge base documentation is fully comprehensive and will allow you to, really navigate this. So we've got diagrams in here that show you exactly what can be done at each step, but also exactly how we can manage this for day-to-day content and back catalogues. We've got a helpful video here from our CS director, Elisa Maria, as well. So if you want to take a look at this in your own time, you can. So we have 2 automation templates I set up earlier. I'm just going to set those going now. So what I'm going to do is activate both of these. So I can activate just from my 3 dots here. And you can see now that my Brightcove and Kaltura automations, both active, both running. Now, all I need to do here in my video platforms is just give those videos that I want to process the right tag. And the tag that we're using here is webinar 1, really straightforward. So I'm going to go into Brightcove. I'm going to do a quick edit. And I'm going to add a tag webinar 1 to all of those videos. Now, I could select a portion of these videos. This is just a simple multi-select. I can be very specific on which videos I want to tag. You might now be thinking, well, if that's the case, can I set up multiple templates, multiple automations for different languages, for different styles, for different videos? And the answer is yes, you can completely do this. This is not only really useful for doing archives and back catalogues, it's actually really helpful for centralizing and governing your content creation when it comes to subtitling and translating videos, because you can really now create tags if you want to for your marketing team or your social media team or different hubs around the world without having those teams needing a license for CaptionHub or having to log in or needing training. You don't need to do that. You can centralize, you can create the automation templates, and then you can give those tags to the right department. So there's some really nice separate use cases here, as well as doing subtitling across your archives and back catalogues. So those videos all now have that tag in Brightcove. And then let's just say, for sake of argument, that I've got another set of videos that sit in my in another DAM. And in this case, this asset management system or video platform is Kaltura. What we're going to do here is exactly the same. So we'll add those tags to those videos as well. Like so. And CaptionHub now, just on a cyclical basis, we will programmatically look for videos in those systems where an automation has been activated. And what we'll start to see is those videos will then import. So you can see already those 4 videos from Brightcove, those have imported. And you can see that they're already scheduled for encoding. as well. So CaptionHub has now started the process for these. It will run this for Kaltura as well. We'll start to see those coming in a moment. And you can start to manage and monitor progress of those languages. They will go into a queue for encoding. They'll go into a queue for transcription. Those tend to be the longest processes. And then translation, because all we're doing there really on the translation side in terms of timing latency is doing a text-to-text translation. We do apply lots of different processes to that. So I'll come on to what those look like in a moment. But the whole process is very fast. And the nice thing about using the automation for a back catalogue is once it's activated, and this is now activated, I don't really have to do anything else. I just need to monitor. And at some point, I will get a notification and these will all be done. And my subtitles will be auto-magically published all the way back into my video platforms. So you can see this particular video, the hydrogen accelerating the transition to a sustainable economy, that's now transcribed in English. And CaptionHub will then, based on our automation template, move forwards and start to translate that. So in a moment, we'll see our translations being created. There they are. And you can see that I've got 26 languages that are 96% complete across those. I've got validation. Now I can and have decided here that I just want to publish those back to my video platform. And in a moment, you'll start to see that these get published automatically. But I can also put a workflow step in to say, actually, what I'd like to do is have a human approval step in there. And I can have a human approval step in at the transcription point, at the point of translation, at the point post-translation, at publish. I can also say that I want these to be sent to a language vendor. So we can include CaptionHub Connect in automation as well. We can say, actually, I'd like to translate using machine translation. And then based on that machine translation, I'd like all of these to go to a language vendor that I have in my language vendor ecosystem. And I can have a human review done there. So externally as well as internally. So there's a few options here. So whilst CaptionHub is going ahead and automating these for me, let's just jump back into the automation and see some more of those details and how we can program those into CaptionHub using this automation template workflow. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here. Once we've set up the automation, and I'm just sort of retrospectively going back through this, really for all intents and purposes, the automations are running for Kaltura and Brightcove now as well. But let's just take a look at some of the different controls that we have at the original caption level, at the translation level, and at the project level. So at the project level, I can determine who is the automation owner. That gives that person the ability to access and control and update the automation. I can then add different workflow capabilities. So this is really important where I do want some human in the loop editing. I can say that I want to have a directly assignable workflow. Or I could have a self-serve workflow where people with the right language proficiencies are able to take the videos and transcribed captions or translated captions. This also applies to translations as well. And take those pre-transcribed, auto-transcribed videos and run a post-edit and review and approve process. I'm going to leave this blank for now. For the purposes of this demo, all we're really interested in is as automatable as possible across all of the video. I might want to add some term bases, and I might also want to add my language profiles as well. Language profiles are really important for saying, what your default caption settings are on a per language basis. Now we can set these up as defaults, but we can also set these up for groups of languages. So we might say that for certain Asian languages, that our character per line limits are different to certain European languages. So this just allows us to get very granular from a localization and translation perspective on exactly how those translation settings should work within the domain of media, because we're talking about time text here. So that's at the project level. At the original caption level, so at my transcription level, I can say, well, I'd like to select a particular speech engine. I'd like to select a particular language. I can put profanity filtering, and I can also add my custom dictionary here as well. If we want to include some human in the loop editing here, I can either do this based on workflow, which I set up at the project level, or I can set this up for external review and approve with a vendor using CaptionHub Connect. I also have advanced options here where I can set on that specific language or step the caption specifications. Now I can do this in language profiles as well, but I can also do this here depending on how complex I need to get in my workflow. And then let's take a look at translations. We have the concept in CaptionHub of translation groups. You can set up a translation group, and each translation group has its own AI. So we can use DeepL, we can use Amazon. In this case, we're going to use DeepL. We can say that we want to include a formality setting. So I'd like all of this to be informal for this type of video that I'm using. And then I can select my default languages. You can actually select this list. You can determine this list of default languages in your team settings. And so if you then just want to, every time you're running a translation, whether it's on a per video or automation level, this will just be your list of target languages, which is a little bit of a time saver. Rather than having to go through and select the individual ones, I can then just select all. And that will give me all of my languages that, if I have 25 operating languages, those are my 25 operating languages. And again, if we need human review, human in the loop, then we can select connect here, or again, we can add the workflow to the project as well. Helpfully here, what we have is our caption styling as well. So caption style templates are set up within our caption editor, and this can just determine exactly how your captions are positioned on screen, the formatting of them, if I do need to output them in a certain way as well. We also have the ability for post-processing of captions. Let's just jump into what this looks like. And we're going to do this in our creating captions. So you'll find that in our machine translation area within CaptionHub, that you'll also have all of the automated QA that we build in is also listed out here as well. So we'll send a link through on this. But there's lots of post-processing that we do for automated captions on the transcription and the translation level to give you really both readable captions that are grammatically presented in the correct way and structured in the right way for the media, but also translated in the most accurately possible way using automation. So we're at any given point in CaptionHub, what we're trying to do is reduce the amount of time that you and your linguists and your vendors need to spend on post-editing, on that human review. So really biasing for automation and speed and scale. So we're going to just save that translation setting, and that will then apply. So you see you've got a lot of granularity, a lot of control here when it comes to translating and automation. Let's go back into our automation for Brightcove here, and you can see as an example that yes, okay, so my 26 languages, so 25 translations and my English, those have all been translated. I don't have any review and approve. I can go back and do an edit on those. So if I see something or I see a certain language or video set that's being viewed more often than other videos, I can make a commercial decision. Yes, I want to do a human review and approve there. And if I need to do that as per the standard format inside of CaptionHub, I can make those changes inside of CaptionHub in the editor, and I can publish those back to the video platform. You'll just see, as always, that sort of dotted orange tick, and that will show you where a change has been made that hasn't propagated all the way through to the video platform. So if I want to republish that, I can just now republish it by clicking on the publish button manually, and that will give me a full set of green ticks, which is great. Let's go back into Brightcove, and you can see how this then transfers across. So you can see that all of those tracks are now apparent and inside of Brightcove, my video. And if I play this,
hydrogen is at the forefront of the changing energy landscape, transforming the global energy footprint. Emerson solutions help maximize the usage and energy output of hydrogen while meeting industry standards.
And so you can see we have those languages, which is great. So that brings us to the end of our demo. Hope you found that useful. We will be sharing the video. We will be sharing the various links that we took you through. If you do have any questions, then please let me know now. I'm going to answer a few that have already been put into the Q&A box. So which caption and translation formats do you support? That's a great question. We have a range of different formats that we support. In terms of the native integrations that we have with Brightcove and with YouTube and those OVPs that we showed earlier, they will rely on their own specific format. So it might be VTT or SRT files. Those tend to be the most common ones. But if you do need to import video from a MAM and then, let's say, publish those subtitles in TTML or another format, then that's possible via the API as well. So we would just need to sort of, figure that out with you. Different subtitle formats are essentially supported, and you can see those formats in the knowledge base. Another great question around recurring webinars, recurring videos. So if you've got let's say you're doing a product update and you're doing that on a weekly basis, and you need those webinars transcribed and translated, rather than setting up an automation every time, there you just have an automation set up and have that set up to, instead of tagged, all new media. So that's for day-to-day content, less for back catalogues, but great question. It just means that you don't have to, run the process every time. So really, you have the webinar, you upload that video to Vimeo or Kaltura or Brightcove, and that video will automatically follow this process. If you want to be a bit more, if you want to define that new media and that automation, then of course you can use the tagging as well. Mike, thanks for your question. What are the rates for using the service, and does it depend on the number of languages? The rates depend on the number of seats and then also the number of minutes that you're processing. And minutes are defined by how much video in volume times by the number of languages. So let's say you've got a 10-minute video into 10 languages. That's going to be 100 minutes of video, and then you'll need to also determine how many licenses you need as well. So happy, Mike, to share pricing with you. Just if you want to ping me an email at james@captionhub.com, I can send you a rate card on that. Great, and we're coming to the end. We've just gone a minute over time, so better than usual. I usually go over a few minutes on these. Thanks for all of the questions, for tuning in today. We'll be following up with the links, with the recording for you to review. And if you do have any questions, please do get in touch with me. Again, it's james@captionhub.com. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for your time today. Have a great evening.